Hello everyone, I am Amit Bhuktani, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department at Dr. Subhash Technical Campus, Junagadh. I welcome you all on today's presentation related with the subject Industrial Engineering. In our today's presentation, we will study about the topic Quality Audit and Basic Concepts of ISO. So before we begin our today's presentation, let us have an overview of today's presentation. First topic that we will study, that is quality audit, introduction to quality audit, then introduction to ISO and basic concepts of ISO 9000. So let us begin with our first point of discussion, introduction to quality audit. So you might have come across the word of financial audit many times when you are doing the income tax return or when you are filing the return. So at that time you had heard the word financial audit. So what is financial audit? First we will try to understand financial audit and then we will study what is quality audit. So that is just an confirmation. Financial audit is just an confirmation of whatever the investments that the firms or an individual has done throughout his whole financial year. Wherever he has done the investment, that all the details has to be filed while doing the income tax return, and it is just a verification of all those investments against which he has done. So similarly, quality audit is nothing but it's an audit of quality. So to get the quality standards, to get the quality products, what are the things that organization have planned, whatever the things they have implemented for getting the quality products, it is a verification or checking of those arrangements, whether those things which they have implemented for the quality product, whether it is as per the standards or not, whether the results that they are producing, it is as per the requirement or not, whether the objectives that they have set, whether it is effectively implemented or not. It is just checking the arrangements which they have made for producing the quality product. So quality audit is defined as a systematic and independent examination. So it's a systematic way, an independent examination to determine whether quality activities and related results compile with planned arrangements and whether these arrangements are implemented effectively and are suitable to achieve these objectives or not. So whatever the things they have implemented or whatever the systems that they have implemented for the quality items or the quality products, whether these arrangements are suitable to achieve that objectives or not. So it's just an examination, systematic way of examination. So it's an inspection or examination of quality items or quality systems that they have implemented to achieve the objectives. It verifies how the developed system of organization for quality is maintained, how it is maintained for producing the quality products, and based on audit, improvement suggestions are mentioned in the audit report in order to improve the quality of the product. So after the examination, the team that is responsible for doing the audit of the organization related to the quality, that person who is concerned will prepare the audit report, quality audit report, and there will be some suggestions, there will be some improvement suggestions that will be mentioned in that report, and which will ultimately help them to improve the quality of the product. So it's an examination of the quality systems that they have implemented to achieve the goals that they have set. It is just checking that those things that has been implemented, that is effectively implemented or not, and whether it is liable to get those objectives that they have set or not. So based on that, audit report is prepared, and in that there are some suggestions that will be mentioned which will be helpful for them to produce the quality or to improve the quality of the product. So this is all about quality audit. Next topic of discussion, ISO, introduction to ISO. So what is ISO? So it is nothing but it is one of the tools of quality audit. So it is one of the tool which quality audit uses or utilizes. So ISO is one of the tools of quality audit. It stands for International Organization for Standards. Is an association who works for developing international standards. So it's a standard international organizational for standards, and it's an association who works for developing international standards. So they are responsible for developing the international standards for an organization. So it's an association who works for developing international standards of the products or the items. ISO develops and publishes various standards for products. It develops various standards for the products and publishes various standards for the products so that their product can be accepted internationally. It develops certain standards. These standards are followed by the manufacturing organization. So if the organization goes for ISO registration, then as per the standards that has been developed, that manufacturing organization has to follow those standards for their manufacturing of products so that their product can be accepted internationally. The benefits of ISO products are that it has same shape, size and dimensions. So what is the benefits of ISO for the products? If you are applying for the X product, you are applying for the ISO registration, or you are doing the ISO registration for your products, then what are the benefits? Okay, it is having same shape, same size and same dimensions. So those industries, those organizations who have registered or who are ISO registered, you can bluntly trust on that product because its dimensions, its size, its shape will remain same throughout. Then anywhere in the world where ISO is followed by the organization, the product is easily replaced. So the similar type of product, if India is manufacturing and if New Zealand is, for example, New Zealand is also doing the manufacturing of the same product that India is doing, then if you want to replace it with the products of New Zealand, and if they have ISO registration or they have ISO registered for their product, then you can easily replace them because it is an internationally standards that has been set, and that items will have the same shape, size and dimensions. So you can easily replace anywhere in the world where ISO is followed by the organization, and the product is easily replaced because its size, shape and dimensions will remain the same of similar products. Next, an ISO standard is developed by a panel of experts within a technical committee. So these standards are developed, published by some experts, panels of experts, and that is by technical committee. So once the need for a standard has been established, these experts meet to discuss and negotiate and draft the standards. So in a panel of experts, they will discuss. Once they have set the standards, once the need for the standards has been established, then these experts will meet together and discuss and negotiate and draft the standards. So once they had come to a conclusion that this should be the standards that should be set for the X product or for this products by the experts from the technical committee, then they will draft, they will implement, they will draft that standards. As soon as the drafting has been developed, it is shared with the ISO members who are asked to comment and vote on it. So this ISO is an association in which group of experts or panel of experts are there. Once they have draft, then they will share with the members, other members of ISO, and they are asked to comment and vote on it, whether this is standards that has been drafted, whether that should be introduced in the market or not. Next, if a consensus is reached, the draft becomes an the draft becomes an ISO standard. If not, it goes back to the technical committee for further edits. So if the then agreement is reached within the other members of an ISO, then the drafted standards will become an ISO standard. But if there is no agreement, they don't come to any agreement among the members of ISO, then it will be sent back to the technical committee who have drafted this ISO standard, and they will be asked for doing the further edits. Next is basic concepts of ISO 9000. So ISO 9000 stands for systems standardization and registration rather than product standardization and registration. So what is ISO 9000? So it is related with the systems standardization. So which system that will be responsible for doing the manufacturing of product, it is doing the standardization of that particular system and registration of that system, which will be responsible for producing the product or manufacturing the product, rather than product standardization and registration. So it is concerned with the systems standardization. Which system is doing the manufacturing or which system is doing the production, it will standardize that only, not product. So it is not related to product, but it is related with the whole systems standardization and registration. The standards outline the collective plans, responsibilities, procedures and resources which ensure that customer requirements will be met. So the standards which has been set by the ISO, they will outline the collective plans, responsibilities, procedures and resources which ensure that, so they will say that this resources should be used and that will be helping to meet the customer's requirement, that procedures should be followed, some standards that they have set that must be followed for producing. So the system should have adopt these procedures, they should use these resources such that their customers requirement will be met. The ISO 9000 standards basically have three requirements. First, the company must document the quality system and business process in detail. So for ISO standards registration or for applying, it have three requirements. The first requirement is the company must document the quality system. So they must have the documents, they must have the clear idea of which system will be responsible for production, which system will be responsible for doing the manufacturing and business process in detail. Second, the company must make sure each and every employee understands and follows the guidelines put forth by the documentation. So the company's employee, each and everyone must understand and follow the guidelines that has been set by the documentation. So whatever the things that has been given in the documents, ISO expects them to understand thoroughly, completely, and they expects them to follow the guidelines. Next, third requirement, the documented quality system must be constantly monitored through internal and external audits and changed or updated whenever necessary. So the systems which you have been using for doing the manufacturing, quality systems which you have been using for doing the manufacturing of the items or the products, there should be provision or there must be constantly monitoring of that system who is responsible, and it must be periodically there must be periodically audits of that quality system internally as well as externally, and whenever the audit is done, there must be some suggestions that must be also provided based on the internal and external audits of the system. So based on the report of the quality audits given by external and internal audits, there must be some changes if required that must be done, and must be updated whenever necessary. Next, prerequisites for approaching ISO 9000. So what are the requirements that ISO 9000 requires before approaching? So the first, the management that is committed, involved, focused and responsive. So management must be committed for the quality. They must not compromise with the quality, who is completely involved, focused and responsive. Then people who are organized, responsible, authorized, competent, empowered and knowledgeable. So who are responsible for taking the responsibility, who are authorized, who have the rights, who are competent, empowered, who have knowledge. This all the things are prerequisites. Then processes that are visible, traceable, consistent, repeatable, measurable and documentable. So all the things should be legal, everything should be available, that processes which they are using for doing the production should be visible, should be traceable, you can easily trace what is going on, should be consistent, should be producing consistent parts, quality parts, repeatable, measurable and documentable. So the processes, documents should be also available. Next, documents that are appropriate means relevant, simple, understandable and consistent with processes in use. So the documents that you are having, that should be relevant to the process which you are using. It should be simple, understandable and consistent with processes in use. So whichever the processes that you are using, for that the documents which are required, that should be simple, understandable, appropriate and relevant to the processes which you are using it. Next, ISO 9000 registration process. It includes management involvement and organizational commitment along with team spirit. So here the management role is very important and commitment along with team spirit. So all are involved in this whole team, it's a team effort. Then the preparation process, which entails understanding the requirement, establishing an internal audit and develop and documentation process. So for the registration process, there should be understanding, involving whatever the requirements are there, understanding the requirements for ISO 9000. Then gap analysis, what is the thing that is lacking, we are lacking in what thing, currently we are where we need to reach, all the gap analysis should be studied. And establishing an internal audit system and documenting the processes. So internal audits system should be established which are responsible for doing the audits of the system and documenting the processes. Document work of the processes or should be available on hand. Audit preparation includes undergoing a simulation, everyone understanding the quality policy and showing a professional attitude and fostering a good working relationship with auditors. Next, ISO audit system includes first party audit and third party audit. So first party audit is performed internally by trained person according to the established standard and documentation. So first party audit is done by the internally by trained person who is responsible for checking whether the established standards and documentations are as per the proposed thing or not, whether the standards and documentations are as per the said thing or not. So it is internally audited by the trained person according to the documentation and standard that they have set. Then third party audit involves independent reviews and registration by external organization. So in third party audit, external auditor will come and will give independent reviews related to the systems, processes that they have adopted. Next, ISO 9000 registration ensures that organization take time to understand what are their key quality processes, what their key quality processes are, that processes are implemented and followed by everyone in the organization, and the processes are documented and maintained to the degree that they can demonstrate to an outside agency. So what is ISO registration? It makes sure that the organization understands their key quality processes, which are the processes they need to focus, and they must also ensure that these processes are implemented and followed throughout the organization, and that processes are documented, so documents of that processes are done properly and maintained to a degree that they can demonstrate to an outside agency also. So to external auditors, they can demonstrate, they can show the documents that we are following this in our organization. Next, benefits of ISO 9000. The first is quality is maintained because it focuses more on quality, and here it's a complete involvement of whole organization. ISO registration also helps and significant. ISO registration also has a significant bearing on market credibility as well. So the organization, the industry who has registered their products with ISO registration, their market credit will also be higher, will be more in the market. Next, opportunity to compete with larger companies. Yes, your products will be in a position to compete with larger companies also if you are registered ISO for your products. Then more time spent on customer focus, so it spends more time on customers focus, customers requirements. Then next is confirmation that your company is committed to quality, so it will examine first all the systems that is responsible for producing the quality product, whether it is as per that quality or whether it is as per that standards, whether it is as per that specifications or not. So it gives a confirmation that your company is committed to quality. Quality is the importance over there. May facilitate trade and increased market opportunities. Yes, it will help you to increase your market, it will help you to increase your opportunities in the market, trading opportunities. Next, can increase customers' confidence and satisfaction. Yes, there will be a huge amount of trust that will be built in the customers and satisfaction. International customers have started to make ISO 9000 compliance as an integral part of their purchase agreements. So if you are sending, or if you want to do business or want to do a deal with international customers, then their main requirement is that your products should be ISO certified. So that will also help international customers to do business or buy products from your company. They use as a way to, yes, ISO 9000, they use as a way to differentiate when products and services are substantially similar. So it can be used to differentiate products and services. Similar type of product is produced by, suppose, A company and your company is B company, but your products are ISO registered. So if that company, A company, is also producing that same product and your B company is also producing that same product, but your products are ISO registered, so the customers can easily differentiate the similar products because ISO will set the standards that is internationally accepted. So you can easily differentiate the products and services which are of similar types. Okay, that's all about this presentation. I hope it would have helped you to understand about quality audit and concepts of ISO. Thank you.